Alright, welcome to Comfort Habit number 2. My name is Echo Fang Grey Wolf. Now, in the last two videos, I made a statement. One video was fun, one video was deadly serious. But amongst one of the two videos, I made a statement about sexuality, the Alphabet Squad or Alphabet Mafia, whichever one y'all prefer, and dating. Alright? So let's talk about that shit. Because I'm sure that somebody who's watching may be in that. Understand, as I apologize to you again for the 90th time, I have nothing against you. I'm just not going to dive into your dating pool because it's not fair to you and it's not fair to me. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're homophobic this and you're homophobic that. No, I'm not homophobic. I just don't live that lifestyle as I choose to be a heterosexual man who chooses to date heterosexual women or lesbians. Ethnicity, not matter. What matters is that they are biologically female from birth, not because you identify as a female. Alright? I got no problem with you identifying as a female. I have a problem when you identify as a female but you are not biologically a female. If this is offending you and you think I'm homophobic, that is your problem, not mine. I also stated in the other video that a relationship started with a lie is not the best way to start a relationship. I understand that I am 48 years old. I do not know the new terminology that the Alphabet Squad uses, which is why when people refer to the LBGTQ plus XYZ community, I have no idea what pansexual is. It took me forever to find out that you guys are not fucking having sex with pots and pans. Alright? Do not come at me with bullshit. You may not like what I said. I get it. You are entitled to not like what I said. Because what I said may have very well been offensive to the Alphabet Mafia or the Alphabet Squad. But I have every right to date heterosexual women, maybe bisexual women who are lesbians, because I love lesbians. But understand that if I'm going to be in a relationship with a woman, I personally prefer her to be a biological woman. I prefer that when I go to her house and her mom has those little naked blackmail pictures of, this is my daughter when she was a little girl. This is me changing her. I do not know why parents even do that because that's fucking disgusting. But back in my younger days, parents, the baby boomer generation, before that stuff was classified as child porn, took naked pictures of their kids. I do not know what in the fuck possessed them to do that, but they do. And they don't have a problem showing that with the new boyfriends or girlfriends that happen to come by. Again, I don't know what the fuck possessed parents in that baby booming generation to think that it was cool to take naked pictures of their little son or their little daughter's little Mr. Happy and little garage, cave, cavern, whatever you women call it when you are babies or little girls, instead of saying that this is my son, he's naked. This is a picture of my naked son and his penis. This is my daughter, she's naked. This is a picture of my naked little daughter and her penis when they were like 4 months old and did not have the right or the age of consent being done, which is now why they classify that shit as child porn, which I don't really think is child porn, but I also think that you should not have that in your photo album in the first goddamn place because you're a fucking sick bastard. I will never take pictures of my child naked. I can't say that the wife that I am blessed to have, if I ever get married, will do that. If she does it, we're going to have a little bit of an argument and a disagreement on that shouldn't be something that you should do. I'm sure the argument's going to wind up being that she's going to win it, and she's probably going to tell me the same thing that I'm about to tell you. Well, my parents did it to me. Okay. My parents may have done it to me too, but I haven't felt the pictures, so maybe they didn't. But still, I'm not going to show my future daughter's boyfriend that picture. I'm not going to show my future son's wife that picture because I shouldn't have been taking that picture in the first place. And I know you're thinking, what does that have to do with what you said? Everything. Because as much as I want to date a biological female and have the right to do that and want to marry and possibly procreate with a biological female from birth, I have that right. And if you're in the Alphabet Squad or the Alphabet Mafia and want to come at me for saying that I would only prefer to date biological females, you have no dog in this fight. You don't. Because if you choose to be a transgender female, I'm not saying that you're not female. But biologically, you will not be able to give me children, and I don't have time for that. You may be a very beautiful biological male that became a transgender female. There are very beautiful transgender women out here. I'm not knocking that. I'm just not dating you. Please don't get upset at me for telling you the truth. I have no interest in dating a biological female that is not biological, a female. That came out completely wrong. What I meant to say was, I'm not dating a female who is biologically a male like me, who has surgery to become a female who cannot procreate, no matter how beautiful you are. I have the right to know who I'm sleeping with, just like you have the right to know who you're sleeping with. I'm sure that you wouldn't want to date me if I was a gigolo or a gigaho and I never had an STD in my life, but I'm fucking everything that moves. You would want to know that. You would want to know my sexual history before we begin having a relationship, unless we're just having a sexual relationship. But at that same time, you being a straight female would like to know if I was a biological male in case we develop better and have marriage and children. So again, don't come at me with this crap about me wanting to date only biological females and some lesbians and not transgender females who used to be male like me. I have the right to know who I'm dating. You can take that the wrong way if you want, but I'm being honest. I do not want to date transgender females. Doesn't matter how beautiful you are. There's a good commodity. We can be friends. We can be friends. I'm not going to pressure you for sex or anything, especially knowing that you are transgender, and that's a very important thing that needs to be discussed before you get into bed with anyone. No. But at that same time, I can't promise you that my eyes and my mind are going to work the same. In my mind, I may know that you are not a biological female, which means Mr. Happy down here might not function. My eyes might deceive me, and Mr. Happy might function. Unless Mr. Happy bumps into another Mr. Happy. That's not going to work for me, because I don't do that shit. I'm going to leave. We'll still speak, but we won't speak of that incident. Which again goes back to no relationship should ever be built on a lie, because the truth always comes out. You get to talking with people. Eventually, if you're in a relationship with someone, and especially if it's a sexual relationship and not a friendship relationship, eventually you're going to have sex. And you don't want the truth to come out right then and there. The truth should have already been out. I don't want to be in that situation. I've had older servicemen and a few uncles and them tell me about stuff like that. I don't want to be in that situation, and at the same time, I don't want to be classified as a homophobe, but I also have a gay nephew and a gay cousin. I don't treat them any differently than I treat any other human being on this planet, because they are the bravest people that I know. I have a lot of respect for gay people, especially gay men, because they live the hardest life that you can possibly live. You're male and you're attracted to other men. So I got to give them their props. But at that same time, they respect me for going after women. The Alphabet Squad needs to do the same. And there's boundaries. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't really date out of your community, but then you got a way to safety that. You may meet somebody who really is a homophobe, who may snap when they find out that you are not a biological female, and they may end your life. YouTube has flagged me one time for making a video about that when all of this was going on like 4 years ago, where biological males that were transgender were killed in Puerto Rico and killed in New York and I try to put the warning out to help people in the Alphabet Squad, and YouTube wouldn't let the video play. They probably won't let this play. But, information is information. And like I said, I would make a video about this because it needs to be made. There are a lot of people out here who are in the Alphabet Squad. Whether you are lesbians, queers, bisexuals, transgenders, all that stuff. You're in the Alphabet Squad. I'm not in the Alphabet Squad. I'm in what they supposedly classify as normal because I love women. I am in the heterosexual group who only prefer to date women. Lesbians are not above my search engine. But that about to be the only people in the Alphabet Squad that I would go after would be lesbians because I wouldn't know you were a lesbian unless you told me. After you told me, it's done. It's like, why would you stop pursuing them? So here's why. They told me they were lesbians. I'm never going to be in the bed with them because they don't want me. So why would I continue to go on a relentless pursuit of fucking destroying my own time chasing after lesbians? And if they're bisexual, they might want me. But if I'm with two bisexual lesbians, I win. Straight up, I win. Because I'd have two girlfriends. Straight up. I would get to watch them do things that I dream of and have watched on Pornhub or Xvideos or Xhamster. And I don't even have to get involved. I can just watch. I'll be happy just watching, which is why I don't have a problem dating lesbians or bisexual women. I prefer straight women so I can be involved in the festivities, but, I'm down with watching too. No worries. No. But the thing is, honesty from the jump. You gotta be honest, people. You have to be. That way nobody's feelings get hurt, or if their feelings get hurt, then they'll already know what's in store when you start the relationship. You won't have to be like, well, I tried to tell you, No. Don't try. Do tell me. Because I'm not going to be the guy that flips out and says, oh, you lied to me. I'm going to beat you to death now that I found out that your Mr. Happy is bigger than my Mr. Happy. I don't want to be in that situation in the first place. You shouldn't want to be in that situation in the first place. Which is why that thing I said about 5 minutes ago about not dating out of your community. Because if you're dating in your community, then you are safer than dating in my community where some asshole will probably try to kill you. It's not that hard, y'all. It's really not. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. I'm just telling you the truth. Alright? I prefer biological women. When I come to my girlfriend's house, if I was lucky enough to ever have another girlfriend, and I get to meet the parents and say, would you like to see what she looked like when she was a little girl? Sure! Because I know there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to avoid that. There are very few people who are able to avoid when you meet someone and you're dating them. It's very few people, especially if you're like in with the family and they would prefer their daughter to marry you versus some other dickhead, and you're into the family and the family really likes you, which means you're probably not going to be with that girl much longer because, women date men to rebel against their families in many cases. If you're in and the family's breaking out the family photos, don't get your hopes up. Your relationship might be coming to an end real soon. You could get lucky, you could get blessed, but, if not, and you're sitting there, you're watching all the videos of this little girl dancing around and singing songs and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they break out the photo albums, and there you go. She's naked. She's a little tiny tot. She's naked. And you're like, I don't need to see that. But, you never know what somebody's photo album is going to unfold. And, you're in that, you're in. Until your girlfriend says you're not. See what I mean? So yeah, if I've offended you because I want to only date biological females, females who have that time of the month, females who have ovaries and a uterus, or in some cases females who are biologically females but they were born without a uterus for some reason, or born without ovaries. It does happen. It does happen. I've read enough books and I've watched enough scientific videos, and my mom's a fucking nurse. My big sister's a fucking nurse. So if you think that I don't have options of reading these books, you would be mistaken, because I do. I have enough medical people in my family to understand how this shit works. The guy that was my big brother in college while I was a kid, he went on to become a doctor or something. He has kids of his own. How you doing, Joe? But the point of the matter is, you can't start relationships on a lie. You can't get mad at a straight person who only wants to straight people versus dating into the Alphabet Squad community. Now, I said I would make this video because I didn't want to offend people, and I probably have offended everybody within the first 10 minutes of this video since we're at the 15 mark. But you have to understand, the Alphabet Squad are very brave people because they live the hardest lives they have to live, especially transgender females. And there's a lot of things going on in the transgender community when it comes to like bathroom issues and sports and shit like that. And I'm with them, you know, but when it comes to like, all right, like biological women are pissed off that transgender women are competing with them in their sport and winning. Okay, let me be devil's advocate because there's a solution to all of this shit right now, and I'm going to tell you what it is. You have the NBA, you have the NFL, you have the soccer league, the hockey league, the tennis league. You have all that shit. And I'm not saying that transgender people shouldn't be allowed to compete in that. But since it's causing such a fucking stank, why don't they just have a transgender league for every fucking sport? Solve all the problems, there wouldn't be any arguments, and you can cross compete. You can cross compete with stats. Like our transgender stats in hockey, football, baseball, basketball, etc. has exceeded every normal female or male record. They'll let you in after y'all whoop their ass. So why is there not a transgender league for everything? Because that would solve the problem of, well, she power lifted 200 pounds because she's biologically a male. Even though she's had the operation and she's got double C's and I have like a B cup, but I have a real vagina. That doesn't make the transgender woman any less woman. It just makes her stronger than the normal woman who probably could lift 200 pounds, but let's say the transgender woman lift 250. Is it fair? FYI, I know women that I follow that can lift almost 300 plus pounds, maybe even more. And also remember that weight and body weight are two different mass. They're two different things. Just so that you know, when you're lifting weights, it's not the same as muscle mass. When you're lifting a human body that's 300 pounds versus lifting a ton of iron that's 300 pounds. They're not the same. Understand that shit. So you know a woman who can pick up 300 pounds of iron, but can't pick up a 300-pound person. Because it does happen. Right? I can't pick up 300 pounds of iron, but I can probably carry a 300-pound man across my back because that's what I was taught to do when I was in infantry at fucking Fort Benning, Georgia. So that being said, there is a mass difference in weight. Alright? Living weight ain't the same thing as metal weight. Metal weight might be heavier in some cases. Human weight might be heavier in some cases. But that being said, for all sports, there should be a transgender league. It's not like you millionaires out here who run all these football teams and stuff can't do that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. The transgender people, if y'all don't want them competing in the normal sports arenas, build them a sports team for everything that you won't let them compete in without giving them a problem. Now, for you in the Alphabet Squad, if you think that I wasn't supporting you, there you go. I just gave you full-on support right there. Because every time I turn around, it's been something, it's either been on Joe Rogan or it's been on somebody else. It's been somewhere else about a fighter. I think her name is Fallon Fox. Shout out to Fallon Fox. Beating up women. Because Fallon Fox was biologically a male. Who had the op and all that other stuff. Now, I don't know if she had the op and I don't really give a crap. I got nothing to do with that because I don't fucking like sports. Now I like wrestling. Wrestling is also a sport, but it's sport entertainment. And I like Nyla Rose, the native beast, who is also transgender. So, what's the problem? Wrestling shouldn't be the only place they can compete at, but it seems like all the track stars and other sports that's in junior high and college don't want the transgender people there competing. So on the flip side of that, if you just build them a transgender league and let them thrive, then shut the fuck up. Let it happen. But I'm sure that's too much like the right thing to do, right? Now back to me. If you are mad that I said I only wanted to date biological females, including lesbians, then you're the one with the problem. I have the right to know who I'm dating. Simple as that. If you were not a biological female, if you do not have a monthly cycle, if you do not have ovaries or a uterus, excuse me, you know, and I mean from birth, you know, because there are again women who are born without those things. They're just not able to produce. They didn't develop, or it just wasn't in the cards. But if you are a biological male who transferred into a female, had the full operation and everything, I don't want to date you. I know that you're out there. I know that you exist. I know you're probably good people. But that's not what I want. And I have the right to know that from the jump. This video is probably going to come back and bite me in the ass. But again, I'm not against them. I'm just not into dating them. Now, granted, there have been actors that have been busted with transgender females. Alright? That's their problem. The world doesn't need to know who they're dating. It really don't. But if they're going to get exploited, then they should just come right out and say it. Yo, look, I'm straight into transgender females. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's your thing, that's your thing. Just like my thing. I love Asian and Native American women mostly because they are the only ones that give me the time of day. Black women don't really suit me, and I'm not really turned on to them. They've also tried to get me killed twice, or at least beat up, which is not really a thing for me to worry about. But when the gun's looking down, it's a different ball game when there's a gun involved. And I stopped dating black women for that very reason. But also, all of my youth, most black women told me I'm never going to be good enough for them. And I had two options. I can wait for black women, or that one black woman to be born in the creation of God, to show up when I'm like 90, to be with me when I'm like 90. Yeah, fuck that. Or I can go with those hot Asian girls. They will give me the time of day. Not just because they're overly polite, but they're actually like me. Or I can go with those hot white girls, those hot Latin girls, those hot Native American girls. They will give me the fucking time of day because they actually like me, versus me trying to fight for a black woman who can't stand me and doesn't want anything to do with me. Again, any relationship born on a lie will always end in tragedy, because you cannot play with people's emotions. You cannot lie to people. You cannot mislead people and think that you're going to have the Cinderella story, because that's not how this shit works. That's not reality. Now, some cases works out. Some cases it don't. We're going to make a part 2 to this. Thanks for watching. This is Come Forever number 2. Peace and you.